I invested $1,000 into the NVDY ETF, currently with a dividend yield over 100%. And today, I'm going to show you how it performed over the last 100 days. You heard that right, over 100% yield on the past year for this ETF, but there is a catch. Now, just to be clear, this is not financial advice, just simply sharing a personal experience. So NVDY is a part of the YieldMax funds, and it is an actively managed ETF designed to generate monthly income by using a covered call strategy on the company NVIDIA. If you didn't know, NVIDIA is one of the largest companies on the stock market, and they have a large market share in the technology sector. Now, more recently, NVIDIA price has been surging due to the rise in AI technology, but being such a large tech company does mean they can be pretty volatile at times. Now, why is this relevant? Well, NVDY will be selling call options on NVIDIA to generate income, which means that volatility could be a positive sign for this ETF. Let's take a closer look at this ETF itself. So the ticker symbol is NVDY, and it currently trades around $15 per share. Over the past 6 months, as shown in the graph, it's been highly volatile, reaching highs of about $31 per share and dropping to lows at $12. This illustrates just how much the price can swing in a short amount of time. But remember, NVDY is not a growth ETF. It's designed as a monthly income ETF. Looking at their dividend distributions on Seeking Alpha, the trailing 12-month dividend yield is shown to be over 100%. This is quite unusual, especially since most income-focused ETFs typically yield between 6% and 12%, such as funds like JEPI and JEPQ. If we break down the monthly payouts in 2024 and 2025, NVDY has distributed between 60 cents per share to as much as $2.60 per share each month. Now, also consider that this ETF has a relatively high management expense ratio of 1%. Comparing this to a fund like VU that has a rate of 0.03%, this can be high, but these funds have very different objectives. Another thing to note is that these high yield ETFs are known for having NAV erosion, which means they do have a history for the share price falling as they continue to pay out monthly dividends. Overall, this is a high-risk ETF, and I wanted to test it out for myself. With that, I took that risk 100 days ago, so let me walk you through my experience with this fund so far. I made my first purchase of NVDY on February 21st, 2025, investing $1,000 at a price of $21.70 per share. Just a week later, on February 28th, I received my first dividend payment of $74.26. Since this was in a taxable account, I lost about $11 to taxes. However, this worked out to be about 7% yield in my first month. Jumping into month 2, I received a $39 dividend, followed by another $34 in April. That brings my total dividends so far to around $110, or roughly 11% yield on my $1,000 investment. But here's where it gets interesting. Remember, I bought NVDY on February 21st, 2025 at around $21.70 per share. Since then, the price has seen a steady decline. So while the dividends continue to come in, the value of my original investment was dropping each month. My most recent dividend was actually the highest so far, $87.59, and that brings the total dividends over the last 100 days to $235.79, or roughly 23% on my $1,000 investment. Now, that might sound impressive, but remember, these funds are inconsistent with their monthly payouts. Now let me show you the full picture, which also includes that NAV erosion that I was talking about earlier. So here is a snapshot of my holding. I've been reinvesting the dividends each month, and while my initial purchase price was at $21.70 per share, those drip purchases have brought my average cost down to about $20.42 per share. Now, as of today, the total value of my investment, and this includes all of those reinvested dividends, meaning that even after collecting $235 $5, I'm actually down nearly $300 in market value, which shows how much the price erosion has offset this income. Now, full transparency, this has been a roller coaster of an ETF. I have to say I'm always on the edge with what the dividend will be. Although they have these high yields advertised on their website, there is a lot of inconsistency in their monthly payouts. It's definitely pretty hard to stomach the price swings on the NAV, but overall, this has been a nerve-wracking but exciting 100 days with this ETF. Now, I'm also curious, who else is actually buying these YieldMax ETFs? Let me know in the comments below, and if you're interested in a follow-up, be sure to subscribe and I'll post another update in about 50 days. Just on the screen now is another YieldMax video I did on MSTY, which is pretty interesting. Remember that this video is just reflecting my personal experience and is not intended for financial advice. With that, thanks for watching.